Hi, my name is Truman, and I have autism. I would like you to know what it's like for me to have autism. But first, Dr. Hamsterberger is going to tell you some information about autism.
I am Dr. Hamsterberger. According to dictionary.com, autism is a pervasive developmental disorder of children, characterized by impaired communication, excessive rigidity, and emotional detachment. More boys than girls have autism. 1 in 68 children have autism. It occurs in every racial, ethnic, and socioeconomic groups.
Not everybody with autism is the same. I have 3 people with autism in my family, and we're all very different.
That's right, Truman. Autism is a spectrum disorder, which means the symptoms can show in many different forms and severity. Here's some more info about that from Dr. Temple Grandin.
It's a very, very wide spectrum. I mean, Einstein had no speech until age 3. He'd probably be labeled autistic. I've seen a lot of geeky guys out at Silicon Valley that would probably be labeled autistic. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you've got much more severe autism, where the child remains nonverbal and is very handicapped and will have to live in a supervised living situation. So it's a huge spectrum.
My sister Nikki is at the low end of the spectrum. She's nonverbal, which means she cannot talk. She has a communication device called the Nova Chat device. We call it her words. She uses it to communicate. Oh look, here's Nikki now. This is my sister Nikki. She can't talk, but she likes to laugh a lot.
My brother Shay is somewhere in the middle of the spectrum. He can talk. Actually, he likes to talk a lot. But he has trouble with understanding things.
This is my brother Shay. What are the good things about having autism for you, Shay?
I have a really good memory. I know a lot of facts about sports. I can remember bus routes, phone numbers, and important dates.
What are the bad things about having autism for you, Shay?
Well, I have a hard time reading body language and facial expressions, and it makes it difficult for me to understand how other people are feeling.
Anything else you have troubles with?
Yeah, sometimes I can get in people's personal space too. I just want to make friends, but sometimes I make people feel uncomfortable.
Thanks for telling me about you, Shay. I am on the higher end of the autism spectrum. I am going to graduate from high school with my Dogwood certificate, and I hope to go to college too. Many people with autism are visual thinkers, like me. It helps me be good at art. I'm good at drawing, making clay sculptures, and making animated characters. I have a very good ear for music. I am very good at piano.
This is Mrs. Edwards. She's been my piano teacher since I was 7 years old.
How long have you known me, Mrs. Edwards?
Truman, I've known you for 10 years.
What's it been like for you having me as a piano student?
Well, Truman, it's been an absolute joy. I've watched you grow. I've watched you learn. I've listened to your music. We've made music together. Sometimes we've laughed together. And I have observed you learning so much. And you are so polite, and you are so attentive. And I know that you are going to continue doing music, and you are going to find that you can do all kinds of things in music. but knowing you has been my biggest pleasure.
Thanks.
I'm also good at guitar, either with singing.
Got a friend in me.
Or without singing.
Loud noises hurt my ears and are very irritating for me. Here are some examples. Loud noises such as cars honking.
And even loud noises such as banging on walls or even tables.
People with autism are often extremely interested in one thing. For me, it's Toy Story. I am a huge fan of Toy Story. For Shay, it's sports, such as hockey and the Canucks. He talks about it all the time with Grandpa. And for Nikki, it's balloons, pinwheels, and balls. She loves pinwheels most of all. I would like to introduce Mrs. D'Onofrio, who has been an education assistant that has worked with me since grade 3. Mrs. D'Onofrio, what are your experiences working with an autistic kid?
Well, Truman, when I first started working with you, I already noticed how smart you were and how incredibly talented you were in drawing and sculpting.
What are some pros and cons of working with me?
Well, you work very hard and you complete all of your homework every time. I'm also often so fascinated by the different way in which you think. It's genius sometimes. One of the cons would be that sometimes you get frustrated and you lose control, but that hardly ever happens these days.
What do you think are my biggest strengths, and what do you think are my biggest struggles?
Well, for strengths, you have total focus on a task until it's done. And also your knowledge of computers. You can work your way around in those like anybody. I think in struggles, dealing with change is hard for you. Also bad smells, germs, and communicating what you're really trying to say. And lastly, fitting in with your peers.
What do you see in my future out of high school?
Well, Truman, I really could see you working in computer animation, which I know you love. But if that didn't work, then a job that's the exact same routine every day, which would just be for the money.
What do I like to do most in my spare time?
Oh, that's easy. It's free time on the computer and drawing.
Thank you for your time, Mrs. D'Onofrio.
You're welcome, Truman.
Mom, is it hard for you having 3 kids with autism?
Of course it is. But being a mom is hard, no matter what kind of kids you have. Kids with autism bring extra challenges, but at the same time, being your mom is easier in some ways than having typical kids who don't have autism.
Really? How is it easier?
You guys are great at following routines. When I ask you to do something, you're a good listener, you're kind, and I don't worry about you getting into trouble like sometimes teenagers get into. I trust you, and you stay out of trouble.
Do you wish I didn't have autism?
I wish that you didn't have to struggle so much. It hurts me when I see that things are hard for you, and I'd like to make life easier for you sometimes, but no, I wouldn't change it. I love you just the way that you are.
What do you wish for my future?
Most of all, I wish that you are happy. I wish that people would give you the opportunity that you deserve to show them how amazing you are, and that you would be able to be successful in whatever it is you choose to do.
Thanks, Mom. I love you.
I love you too.
Thank you for sharing about your life with autism, Truman. I'm sure you will be very successful. Here are some other successful people with autism.